The Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Vastu Sangrahalaya is one of the premier art and history museums in India, whose aim is to create awareness and sensitivity towards our rich heritage and cultural traditions. We bring to you the second episode in this series titled Raagmala, Picturing Sound. Sarod virtuoso Ayaan Ali Bangash has developed an individual and distinctive musical voice from a very young age. Through his music, he has broken through troublesome polarities of continuity and change, tradition and innovation, giving purpose to the work that he brings to the stage. Ayan and his brother Aman are worthy heirs to their revered father and grandfather, Ustad Amjad Ali Khan Sahab and Ustad Hafiz Ali Khan Sahab, and have become central figures in North Indian classical music. We now present a special Sarod recital of Ayaan Ali Bangash playing Rag Bhairavi. An interview with the maestro will follow. Raagmala. How are you doing?
Hi, nice to meet you in this medium, through this medium rather, in this
I
very
know.
unusual times we are in. Nice to see you again after a few months.
Thank you so much. We've embraced the new normal. Of course, this is a virtual series. How are you? Are you comfortable with Zoom? Have you had practice on it?
I mean, yeah, I didn't think I'd know Zoom so well, but I do now, mainly because my children, Zohan and Abir, they've been having their online classes through
Fabulous.
Zoom. So I'm
Correct.
very
Correct.
comfortable with like uploading assignments, with muting, unmuting, with, doing all kind of things, assignments that come online, then you just submit it and all of that. So yeah, I was always a student, but I think I've become a student all over again now during
All
this
over
lockdown.
again. That's amazing. This lockdown, of course, has presented us with the opportunity to have a lovely one-on-one with you. So thank you for giving me the time.
No,
I'm
it's a
going to
pleasure.
start
It's
off.
always a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to start off with asking you that almost all classical musicians have begun leaning towards collaborations with other genres of music, be it
Right.
jazz, be it fusion. Do you also enjoy doing these sort of collaborations, Ayan?
I mean, it was something I always wanted to do, but I
Mm-hmm.
think in my case and my brother's case, because I think we were very clear about first establishing ourselves as classical musicians because that's who we are.
Correct.
And like they say that if you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know where you're going.
We're going.
So
Correct.
that's why that's why it was very important. I felt for me to at least you know be in the environment of classical performances for a period of time, though it was not a conscious decision. It just happened that way. And then it was only as late, I say late because we've been in the field for over 25 years now, but it
Has
was
it
only
been that
as
long?
it has been that long, yes. But the thing is,
Wonderful.
it was only by about 2005 when we started doing collaborations, with electronic music and with a whole lot of other things. So that was a journey which we took from that period onwards. But then obviously it was always the ratio was if there are 10 concerts, then 7 were classical and 3 were experimental. So that was always a ratio that we were conscious about, and we kind of stuck to that.
I'm always curious to know for someone with such varied musical interest as yourself, do you have a preference? Where do you feel most comfortable? Or do you think, no, it's all part of the game?
I mean, for me, I've always been a student of music, student of life. I've always believed that I'm not running a finishing school. I've never told people what to do and how. I just observe people, and I feel everyone has their own journey. They have their own kind of paths to take. But I think for me, any kind of appealing music was something I always felt for, whether it was pop, whether it was rock, whether it was any kind of genre, as long as it was appealing to me, it was something I really felt for. So that's why now, if you see my brother and my collaborations, we've done a whole lot of things like Sarod with electronic music, and recently with the album we did with Karsh Kale, then with so many Western classical musicians where there's a written score and we are playing to the written score, which is a big
Yeah.
challenge as well. And then apart from that, we've also done stuff with most of the contemporary performing art. We've done something with Kailash Kher at an event, and so so it's a very wide kind of a spectrum that
Spectrum.
we as musicians, I think we have that indulgence because we don't deal with language or text.
Yeah,
So that's why
absolutely.
instrumental music, I think that's why it can transcend boundaries and borders, so to speak.
How beautifully said. I'm going to name a couple of, my sort of memories of your collaborations. With
Right.
Derek Trucks, of course, of the Allman Brothers Band, the
Yes,
Chicago
yes.
Philharmonic Orchestra, the Avignon Symphony Orchestra. Now, these are just a few that come to mind right now. But from amongst these, what do you think, is a very special memory for you?
I think every performance has been memorable. I really thank God always for His mercies, because the moment you get off stage or you get on stage, it is a moment, at least for us as musicians. It is something spiritual. I mean, we connect music to spirituality. So there are many times, even if it's a written score, the energy changes sometimes. You,
Yeah,
even with all the rehearsals, with everything, what you eventually do up then come off stage, you sometimes feel, oh my God, how did that happen? How did this happen? So those things, it's very difficult to answer those questions. So that's why
correct.
for us, we're literally, it's a form of a prayer for us, and it's not a moment of proving your versatility, or your technical fireworks. It's end of the day, you're supposed to go there and just enjoy what you're doing. You're not supposed to be a teacher when you're on stage. You're not supposed to impart, oh, I know it all, and I'm here today to prove a point. I don't think that's how it works. I think you should
Absolutely.
go up there and just convey the message of love and happiness, and you should just, more importantly, you as a performer yourself should have a good time and come off stage.
Wonderful. Speaking of a good time at concerts, I'm going to make this tough for you. I'm going to ask you to go back and think of a concert that you kind of think back of very fondly because you really love the experience. Anything that comes to mind?
Well, honestly, thanks to my father, but I've had the opportunity to perform at some amazing venues and occasions, and I say this with unapologetically that it's because of him. Otherwise,
Yeah,
I wouldn't have I wouldn't have been in these places, honestly.
correct.
But I think things which I really, I mean, obviously, everything has been memorable. Like I said, from a concert when I was 8 to a concert when I was 18. So many memories. But I think something that really was a big moment was when we played at the Nobel Peace Prize concert
Of
in
course.
Oslo. That was something I really remember distinctly. And then obviously there was the UN Day concert at the United Nations in New York in 2018. So these two performances, I think, were extremely special. And obviously, apart from that, most concerts have been special. The first time I played all around India, I mean, I can never forget those moments, the amount of love and blessings we received, because, it's a long association you develop with the audience.
Absolutely.
By the end of it, the content doesn't matter. If they love you for what you do. There's so many
Let me give
musicians.
you guys a shout out for the most memorable Kala Ghoda concert.
No,
We've had
thank
such
you.
a
Thank you
great
so much.
time, and every time you guys perform there, it's almost like a homecoming for us because what is the Kala Ghoda festival without you guys?
No, no, but Kala Ghoda is honestly, again, so many memorable concerts at that festival. And, again, some festivals are special, some venues are special, some cities are special. So every time you perform there, it has a different energy. So it's very difficult to say which was the most memorable performance, because you remember most concerts for various reasons. I try to forget the bad ones, though. But the bad concerts also happen. I mean, they happen as well. Yeah.
A few, like Zakir Saab actually told me that one of the nicest places for him to perform is Pune, because Pune is a place that is very,
Yes, yes.
musically inclined. There's a lot of lovers of classical music. Let's try and ask you, within India, versus internationally, do you find a difference? Every audience in every city has a different sort of vibe?
I think the classical music fraternity without Maharashtra and West Bengal would be a whole different ballgame. We are so blessed to have Maharashtra and Bengal in our lives, because the kind of passion in every household for any art form, let alone music, but be it art, be it theater, be it even sports, I think these states are so, I'm not generalizing, I think all states have their love and affection for all kinds of things, but these two states are very passion driven for the creative world. And so that's
Correct.
why, be it within Maharashtra, be it Mumbai, Pune, Kolhapur, Sholapur, we've gone to, we've gone all over. And the Nashik, so the kind of audiences that I see, and the kind of passion I see, even, kids who are like 7, 8, 9 years old coming and attending concerts till late at night. I mean, these are moments that, a child remembers when he or she, when they grow up, and it's the initiation that is very important. Of course, even down south, even the northern belt has their own kind of systems of appreciating art and a whole lot of things. But like I said, the passion which I see in Maharashtra and Bengal, it's really something which you take back home. And
Speaking of fashion, I look at your T-shirt. Is it something that you guys designed in-house?
well, this is just a little subtle plug-in, something we're doing during lockdown. So,
Love it.
I mean, I don't want to talk too much about it because it won't be appropriate, but then go to my Instagram handle and take a look.
We will, absolutely.
Yeah.
Which the T-shirt actually sparks the next question, which is the tradition or the legacy of Sarod playing has been within your family, passed on for 7 generations, and you and your brother are the 7th generation. We've spoken about this pretty often. But I think for my audience who's watching us on Raagmala, you must tell us, how does that feel to be carrying this sort of, is it a weight at all? Is it a pressure at all?
See, the point is, I mean, you can't change history. So I feel extremely proud about the fact that, this has been in our family for so many generations.
Yeah.
And it's not something I would like to flaunt about, but it is reality. It's not something we say because it didn't happen, because this did happen. My grandfather, he was a hero, of his time. My great grandfather, in fact, we still know compositions of even my great grandfather. So, music is the greatest wealth I think we inherited for generations in my family. And back in the day, when weddings would happen during families of musicians, they would actually gift compositions as wedding presents.
Wow.
I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah, of course.
And they would say that, okay, this is the wedding and this is from our side to you. I mean, I'm against dowry and all of that.
Dowry,
but these were compositions which were, I would like to say, given as presents, So, but anyway, what I was trying to say is that end of the day, whatever legacy you have, whatever generations of music you have in your family, what matters is what you do on stage, what you deliver. That's eventually that matters, because you cannot impose an artist on anyone. You cannot. My father, obviously, like I said, I got the opportunity to perform at, and I still do get at all these amazing locations and venues and all of that. But beyond the point, I don't think any presenter is that crazy to actually, end of the day, it all boils down to figures. No one is going to invest their time and energy and invite an artist just because of some legacy behind him
Lineage.
or her. Yeah, end of the day, what matters is what you deliver on stage. As they say, it's 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration.
Inspiration, absolutely, yeah.
So that's what it is. And beyond the point, it's, I feel that this field, if I can stick to music only, this is a field which is blessing driven. It's not about just music. It's not about just musical fireworks, because you have so much talent around you. But why do only few people connect with the rest of the universe? Is because of the universe. There is no logic to it. There is no reasoning to it. So the only logic I can put to it, that this is a field which is blessing driven. And that color and that fragrance which makes your music special is because of that blessing quotient.
So beautifully said. Speaking of generations, I'm curious, of course, Zohan and Abir are teaching you how to Zoom in this new normal time. I wonder, does that also play out in a way where you think upon you that you need to pass this on to the next generation? How is their learning experience different compared to your time?
I mean, honestly, it was just it's just a way of life in my family to be involved in music or to play. Before we knew it, we were already playing. So likewise for them, I mean, I think the moment these kids came back home from the hospital, they first went down to the music room. I mean, that was something I wanted to do. And then my father played and so that was like the greatest blessing, And then after that, the little Sarods came. They're still little, but they're growing as they're growing. It was the same story like my brother and me. But again, they are children of, of this time and age. They are tablet kids, so For them, I think this lockdown, in a very strange kind of a way, has been brilliant for me, that I've been able to teach them. Because
Right.
earlier, with my travel schedules and their school schedules and all of that, I was not able to give a lot of time to them. It was not enough, and I would
Correct.
sometimes feel disappointed as a father that, not even if they were learning it just for the love of learning it, I felt that, maybe I'm not putting it enough time, and I always felt that. But then this lockdown happens, and I have all the time in the world. So now, for number of hours a day, they've been playing for the last many months, and by God's been kind, I see a progress. But again, it's something that I am imparting to them, whatever I can do. Eventually, what they want to do is what they should feel free to do what they want to do. There's really no pressure from my end.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much on behalf of the CSMVS for joining us today. Of course, you must be very proud because you own this really beautiful family heritage museum in Gwalior. There's a short video that follows, guys. But before we
Yes,
get
yes.
into this video, Ayaan, I would love it if you could tell my viewers about the Sarod Ghar, which I'm really excited to visit as soon as this lockdown is done.
Yeah, sure. No, so Sarod Ghar is actually my father's ancestral home. It's been there for a few generations now. And my father was, I think, visiting Europe sometime in the early 80s, and he went to Beethoven's house, which has been converted into a museum. And at that point, he thought that, is there a home of any artist which has been preserved the way they have preserved an artist here? And he couldn't think of anything, and that's when he decided he must convert this into a museum. So in time, it was officially opened back in 1995, but it's at the moment going through a major renovation. We hope to open up along with the time the world opens up, I think.
Yes,
But it has
yes.
it's really like a pilgrimage for us when we go there. It's open to the public, and it's got a whole lot of contemporaries of my father have donated their instruments. Ustad Zakir Hussain, you mentioned him, he donated his guru's, Ustad Allah Rakha Khan Sahib's guru's tabla, Ustad Qadir
Beautiful.
Baksh's tabla. Then we have Ustad Bade Ghulam Ali Khan Sahib's surmandal there.
Mhm.
We have, the Sarods of my grandfather, and Pandit V.G. Jog gave Alauddin Khan Sahib's violin. So, I mean, the energy there is really electrifying for any human being. I think it's a beautifully developed space with photographs, and we are taking tips from CSMVMS as well on how to how to make things a little more better over there. But I hope that we are able to keep that going, and it's a part of India's musical history that I think should be exposed to anyone who goes to Gwalior when they go to visit Madhya Pradesh.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us for this wonderful chat. It's always a pleasure speaking with
Thank
you.
you, such a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Ayaan, for talking to us today. And it was wonderful, wonderful catching up for Raagmala. Of course, you've shared with us a beautiful video of the Sarod Ghar, and my viewers, of course, can get a sneak peek into what's coming up.
Namaskar. Gwalior was the capital town of music. This is what my father, my guru, Ustad Hafiz Ali Khan Sahab, often said. Gwalior has produced maximum number of vocalists and musicians. What you are watching now is the Sarod Ghar, the place where I was born, my ancestral house, which has been a house for so many musicians, so many Sarod players. This ancestral house has been converted into a museum of musical heritage. This is not only the museum of my family, it is a history of our Indian music and the musicians. You will see photographs of all the great masters, and we are still trying to collect some more rare photographs of the musicians from the south and north. It houses all the instruments of my forefathers, my childhood instrument, and many great musicians have donated their instruments to our Sarod Ghar. Pandit Kishan Maharaj gave his gurus tabla, Pandit Kanthe Maharaj. Ustad Bade Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab's grandson presented Swaramandal, the instrument which Khan Sahab used to always keep it in his lap while singing. His grandson Raza Ali Khan gave this instrument. Ustad Zakir Hussain has presented tabla of Mia Qadir Bakhsh, his father's guru, Ustad Allah Rakha Khan Sahab's guru, Ustad Qadir Bakhsh Khan Sahab. And many other great masters have given their instruments of their forefathers. So, after seeing the house of legendary Beethoven, the great composer of Germany, my wife Subbalakshmi and I visited that museum, and we got inspired because we could not see any museum of musician in our own country. So I am grateful to the central government and the state government, Madhya Pradesh. They all encouraged and helped, especially Mr. Arjun Singh. He was the HRD minister at that time. I would like people of India and people of the world who have respect and feeling for history and the music, traditional music of India. I would like the tourist, whoever is coming to see our country, I'm sure they all go to see Taj Mahal, which was created by the Mughal kings, and they must, Gwalior is very close to Agra. You can come to Gwalior and see the historical buildings of the Maharaja and the forts and so many beautiful historical monuments in Gwalior, and plus our humble Garibon Ka Tila, the Museum of Musical Heritage, Sarod Ghar. I learned everything as a child. My education of tradition and culture and music began from this humble house of musicians, Sarod Ghar. I'll be very happy and honored if you visit this Museum of Musical Heritage.
I hope you enjoyed that. The Museum on Wheels is currently hosting an exhibition in tune, The Journey from Sound to Music. This session today is part of a series being hosted by the CSMVS under the aegis of the Museum on Wheels Outreach Initiative supported by Citi India. We'll see you the next time. Until then, this is me, Rohini, signing out.